Hey, what's up, fam? Welcome back again to Recap Kickback. It's me, your host, Chappell, and we are back to talk about Marvel again, to talk about Wonder Man. Last time, we talked about the first 4 episodes of season 1 of Wonder Man, and now we will be talking about the full series. I've reassembled the Black Avengers here, and so with me, first up, Super Negro number 1, Jason Reed. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me again. Really appreciate it to wrap this whole thing up. And guys, don't. It's just the two of us here, right? Like, don't say like. I'm just going to tell it to. Robert Downey Jr. is just off screen. He wants to like shadow me. Like he wants to know what like being a podcaster is like.
Mm-hmm.
He's asked a lot of other questions that are like my bank account information. I don't know what. There's nothing weird about that, right? He just wants to shadow me as a podcaster. It's for a role, right? Robert, I'm just telling my friends, okay? I'm not telling everybody. Robert's here. He's just going to watch me as I podcast, guys.
Yeah, this is normal. This is normal.
Yeah,
normal.
Yeah, we recognize him. I
Yeah.
see you before. You look
Pretty
familiar.
much.
You're not the biggest movie in
Right?
the country, are you?
See, they like you, Robert. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
okay. You really want me to be on the hush about it, but
You portrayed a Negro pretty well.
yeah, he's got experience.
Yeah. Okay. And also, as you heard, Anthony Sterling is back from the Talkin Ish podcast. Anthony, welcome back.
Thank you for having me back, man. I am excited to speak about the back end of Wonder Man. There's no pause, so I don't play that game. But I'm so ready to talk about this. For me, this amazing show that Marvel gave us, ignored, neglected, but was nice enough to give to us. So I'm happy about that.
Yes, we will appreciate the things that we got, but I do have some questions. And so before we get into that, thank you all for joining us again for more of our Marvel coverage. I think we're gonna have to do this more often because I am very much enjoying talking about this show. I had a great time watching it, but assembling a panel of experts is treating me right. I'm learning so much. I'm getting to talk about a show that I watched one way, but I know with a little of the backstory, I'm gonna be able to take more from it, and hopefully you all can. If you are listening to this podcast on your audio platforms or whatever, make sure you subscribe. Recapkickback.com/subscribe. Or if you want to come and see our beautiful faces here on YouTube, youtube.com/@recapkickback. Come show us some love. Hit that like button, share the video so other people can get into this nerdy Black content. Now, that said, I said I had some questions. You know, I was about halfway through this show and I thought, damn, is this Black superhero going to get to fight somebody? And Jason, he did have one fight.
He did, but it was very low key, and like the action scenes were not plentiful. I think as a Marvel property, this might be one of the most unique, interesting properties Marvel has ever done. And mostly because it stripped a lot of the superhero out of it. And it really just kind of gave us this, at times dramatic, at times funny, at times heartwarming portrayal of like two friends you might not have necessarily thought about being friends. And I really give it great kudos for that, because it's something that I don't think any of us really expected coming into Wonder Man. I know that we knew Trevor Slattery was going to be in it. I think we all thought there was going to be some level of superheroics or maybe a superhero origin story in here, but we didn't really get any of that. We just got a kind of in a way, straightforward story for the most part.
Yeah. I'm very confused as to I guess I'm not so much confused as to why it happened, but I'm a little confused as to why it happened. Anthony, yeah. So they brought us Wonder Man. They gave us this Black man. They gave him the best powers, if not every power, except super speed. But, for the most part, he can do whatever. And they decided to completely nuke him by giving him nobody to fight and nothing to do, but a lot of acting.
Yes. They nerfed the hell out of the action. I don't think we've seen a show like this since WandaVision that didn't have much action until the end. The final episode, but even in this final episode, we didn't get much action. But what I do appreciate is that this was Marvel really going with a different alternative. Instead of the pew pew, punch punch, laser beam, sonic blast or whatever coming out hands, eyes, ass, wherever. Let's break down into a character study. And let's show a person who is superhuman go through pretty much a normal kind of humdrum, bum ass broke life, as a
Mhm.
struggling actor, and let's see what happens to him.
Yeah.
And especially when you have the doorman clause. The Sokovia Accords are still in the Marvel universe. You have the Department of Damage Control out hunting superpowered humans. So I and Imma just say it right here and right now, I loved it. I thought it was a really nice, step back from the, cookie cutter superhero action situation. I mean, we had Daredevil, we had Ironheart, we had all the superhuman stuff from, 2024, 2025, and I think the way they did this was a really great just, "Hey, we're gonna turn it down a notch, and plus, we ain't spending all this damn money."
That part. That part. They
This
didn't
was
spend no
free.
money. Yeah.
None.
That, none. I could have filmed this. But I agree with you. I really did enjoy this. I enjoyed the character study. I enjoyed how intimate it felt at moments. A lot of the scenes were just the close up on him acting, or
Yeah.
the moments where Trevor and Simon are together and they're acting and they're trying to pull the best out of each other and they're managing Simon's anxiety. Those moments were really cool. And so I got so invested in this character, Jason, to now think that like, damn, are we ever gonna see him again?
Yeah, and it's tough, right? Because as we talked about last episode, the infrastructure of Marvel is going through upheaval. So I there's so many unanswered questions about Simon, about Wonder Man, that I'm bummed that I feel like we're never going to get these questions answered. We're never going to see the continuation of this story. I was kind of hoping that by the end of this, it would be really a definitive ending, a self-contained story, because I said, if they leave any questions lingering about what's going to happen to Simon, what's going to happen to Trevor, then we're never going to get them answered. And I was like, by the end, obviously we know what happened. He escapes prison with Trevor. I'm like, oh my god, like it leaves it open ended, where it's like, wait till you see what these two buddies get up to next. But I know we'll never see that, so I'm really just kind of bummed about it.
Yeah, Anthony, do you think we're gonna see these two on the big screen anytime soon? I mean, Doomsday is coming? Question mark.
Um, I have a strong feeling, definitely not for Doomsday. Um, I do have hope that we will see at least Simon in Secret Wars. But then again, the way that I look at how Marvel treats the Hulk, and we had an awesome Hulk until we get to Endgame, and then you find out the reason is that the Russo brothers don't like the Hulk, and they didn't know what to do with him. So the question is, would the Russos know exactly what to do with Simon, and how would you put Simon into Secret Wars? Because Doomsday is really just going to be a rehash of what we saw from Phase 1 to Phase 3.
Mhm.
The sins of Tony and the sins of the Avengers will come back to bite him in the butt, right? So you don't need Simon for that. But Secret Wars, which if everybody or anybody remembers the one from 85 and the one from I think 2015 was the other
Yeah, it
Secret
sounds about
Wars.
right. With where Doom was pretty much in charge of
Yeah,
everything.
God
Yeah.
King Doom.
Mhm.
And look, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not talking about the Secret Wars 2, which was totally hilarious. This was Marvel playing with their toys, and the original Secret Wars was created just to sell toys. The comic was to sell new toys. They were looking to make money, and it worked because my little 8-year old butt begged my dad to take me to KB Toys, and I damn sure bought Spider-Man and Iron Man. And as you
Yeah.
can see, you might see him in the back. My all-time favorite, the greatest villain ever created, Doctor Doom.
Mhm.
But with this one, I think Simon is we're probably not going to see Simon probably until Secret Wars, and if not Secret Wars, maybe, just maybe. I'm gonna no, I would have said Black Panther 3, but I doubt it.
I mean,
I doubt
that
it.
for me, that's an optimistic view, because I feel
Yeah,
like,
and like he's gone
especially
for
with
gone.
Yeah, especially with the way that they have refused to really promote this, to really like
Yeah.
put it out there, like, hey guys, we've got this great, awesome show that you can watch, and we haven't really seen that. So I do just feel like they're going to be like, "Well, we did that," then put them in the chest and be like, "Well, we're done with that.
Mhm.
We're done with that forever." Would it be a wonderful thing if in either Secret Wars or Doomsday, we hear a knock on Simon's secret hideout door, and Sam Wilson is here to
Yeah.
initiate him into his new version of Avengers? Would love that. Do I think we're going to get that? Hell no. What I love, like, I think in the perfect world, we would get Wonder Man season 2, and we would
Yes.
see more of how did Simon get his powers? Is Simon a mutant? Because I feel like that's a question we need to be answered in this universe. Is he a mutant? He's not a mutant in the regular universe, but is he a mutant here? Because that's kind of the vibe that they were giving in, like,
Right.
in the flashbacks, where he's a kid, his powers start manifesting, he sets the kitchen on fire, and that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. And it really felt like they were scratching the surface of a lot, but they didn't want to dig deeper. Like, what's going on with Dad? How did Dad die? Like,
Right.
it's there's a lot to mine here, and I feel like in a season 2 we would have gotten that. We'd have gotten the origin of powers. We'd have gotten how did Dad die. We'd have gotten the choice between being an actor or being a superhero. Are you going to audition for the Avengers now? What's your next role going to be? So it's like, we could have done so much, and it just feels like they opened the door for that. Like a season 2 would be like Trevor and Simon on the run. How do they do that?
Mhm.
They opened the door for so much, but I just feel like we're going to knock at the door and they're never going to open it.
Yeah.
It really bums me out.
I do think the reason why we may never is because I think they painted themselves in a box by putting it as a Marvel spotlight.
Yeah.
And from what I've read, the way they're doing Marvel Spotlight really is just to give almost a one and done, just an introduction, like, hey, this character exists. Here's what it's doing in the MCU, and we're done.
But then give me a complete story. Don't tease
Yeah.
me and be like, hey, there's so many more fun adventures these two are going to go on as fugitives from the law. You'll never see it, but hope you had fun with what you got. So yeah, it's almost a double-edged sword of like, you guys did this so well that I want to see more, but they're like, too bad, it's only going to be a one and done.
Right. To
Kinda
me,
like that. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Oh no, I was just gonna make a remark like, oh my God, it's kind of like this Game of Thrones show that's running right now.
Yeah, like a separate novella.
But at least they getting seasons. Wonder Man, I think it's just a one and done.
And the crazy thing is that I could see this, like, us never talking about Wonder Man, the Simon, the character, ever again. But Trevor Slattery could still appear in more stuff, right? He's been in so much other, like, up to this point. It's kind of like he's like the Forrest Gump wandering into all of these Marvel things, right? He's like drunk and strung out, and so he's the Mandarin. Then like all this. And now he's at the Wonder Man set. Now he's gonna go do something else. And it's wild to me that, like, we have such a compelling, interesting character here who is super powered. I'm talking about Wonder Man could, like, I'm putting him up there with everybody. Like, now, like, let him fight. But no, we barely get any fights. And quite frankly, it just feels like we might not ever be going back to the well and getting that season 2, Jason. Like, I can't see it. I don't even believe they're going to give us an Ironheart season 2. And they very clearly left that one open-ended, So it's like, why are we bringing in Mephisto and letting them meet Riri? Why are we letting Trevor Slattery have this bond with Wonder Man if we're not going to ever explore it? So to that, I'm a little disappointed. Not so much in what we got, but just in the way that this feels like you said, Anthony, this is a spotlight. They're going to highlight him and then they're going to throw him to the side.
Yeah. And I don't dislike the fact that they are exploring more avenues in TV, but I just wish they would do it in a more, like, responsible manner to the audience and give us, like, a complete story. We had 8 episodes of an average of 28 minutes. I feel like we could have done a little more if we had 10 minutes, maybe 5 minutes more an episode to really kind of explore some things. And it felt like they went out of their way to be like, no, we're not going to do that. Like, that's not what we're here for. We're not here to talk about superpowers. We're going to give you a little taste of superpowers. We're not here to give you the whole rigmarole. This is a different beast. But it does leave me, like, kind of hankering, like, but I want to know, though. Like, I want to know, like, how did he get the powers? Like, what happened to Dad? Like, I get you want to be, like, you want to be artistes. Like, I love that for you guys, but I also do want some of my action hero comic booky in my comic book action hero-y property that you promised me.
Yeah, I'm not even saying that I need every minority superhero to have 3-4 seasons or like. Don't get me wrong, I'll take it. But I think that they really did leave this open ended on purpose to show like Simon didn't have to publicly break this man out of jail, right? He could have did the exact same thing and like just came and let him out and then just disappeared into the night. Like, like he goes back to his regular job. He never sees that man again, still pays him off, all that kind of stuff. But you can't trace it back to him. They could have made this very discreet, but they made him literally reveal his flight power, burst through the roof, like he's on camera, like everything is seen so publicly that now you have to wonder what's going to happen next, when he could have just went back to acting like, hey, I let my guy out, let me just put my hood on, go back to what I was doing, and then we never have to wonder what the rest of this is. This could have been an email. They could have just like signed it, delivered it, and just been done with it. I feel like they kept us on the hook on purpose.
Yeah. I mean, and that poor guard, right? Like, I gave him a bunch of money. No, you just sent this man to jail. Like, they're going to look into that. They're going to find out that he snuck you in there, and now he's going to be in prison for aiding and abetting a jailbreak. That was funny, but I mean, he could have snuck in and be like, "Hey, Trevor, I just want to have one last conversation with you. Like, thank you so much for taking the rap, or blah blah blah. You want me to break you out?" He's like, "No,
leave the
so
key, leave the key." Yeah, or something.
But they decided to go fugitive with it, and now I'm just wondering what the buddy adventures of fugitive Trevor and Simon are, and I feel like I'm going to be forever left with that question.
That man has never served a full jail sentence,
right? And
blessings to him. He's constantly like, "I have 10 years. Let's go. Oh well, good night, goodbye."
Yeah. So yeah. It's a very weird place that it leaves me in for sure. But I did enjoy it. I liked pretty much everything I saw. It was like, it really did kind of really connect you to Simon in a way that I came in this not knowing who the hell Wonder Man was. I had no insight. And although like, the YouTube comments and other places, people are pointing out that this didn't even have to be Wonder Man. You could just name this Black Man #3 and it would have been like fine, right? Like it's almost not aligned with the Wonder Man comics at all. But to me, if you wanted to sell me a toy now, Anthony, you could, right? Like now I think the kids would want to be Wonder Man if you made it attractive to do that.
Well, exactly. If you really went, just the cookie cutter superhero route, but then you're gonna have to include him in the bigger picture. That was the beauty of the introduction to Black Panther in Civil War. He came in and he was part of the bigger picture. And even with Spider-Man coming in and having his big MCU debut, Black Panther still captured the eyes of everybody, because yes, T'Challa had a much bigger role than Pete, but still everybody was we need a Black Panther movie. We need a Black Panther movie. So Wonder Man had, I think, a really nice introduction on the human level. Since we're not getting the season 2, and again, as Jason said, optimistic thinking, let's say we do, then you can move on to the fugitive aspect and the using of his powers and how him and Trevor are going to get away from all of this, to the point where at the end of that season, knock on the door, there's Sam Wilson. Don't hate me for calling him this, but it was so funny when I heard it, aka Nigga Bird. Captain America. Yes, I put respect on the name. He is Captain America.
Name. That's my captain.
That's his name. Captain America.
He is our captain.
Cap America.
Big Cap America.
Cap America.
But it would be cool for him to be enlisted in the Avengers. Hell, even make it to the side note where you do have the West Coast Avengers.
Yeah.
There's so many ways Marvel could go. But right now, I think because of the oversaturation they did during the pandemic, it's like they have to go back, trim it so much fat that it seems like they may lose flavor.
Yeah, and Marvel, I feel like, and now after they've done
That's
all these
fat thing.
I thought you were talking about the seasoning, but yeah, that too.
Yeah, it loses flavor. Yeah, it's a big bag thing. I'm sorry.
And after all their experiments that didn't go right in the movies, like Eternals, I think Eternals really turned them off of really taking big bets on the movie side of things. And so now it feels like they're scared to really do that. So they're going to go for their sure things. They're going to go for their hits. It does feel like if this Wonder Man happened in a earlier phase of Marvel, we would have gotten that, post-credit scene of this TV show where, Simon does get a knock on the door and Sam Wilson's on the other side of saying, hey, I've been hearing things about you. Why don't you come over to the Avengers or blah blah blah, whatever. And we're doing do the Sam Wilson. Have you heard of the initiative called the West Coast Avengers? We can have you and She-Hulk and blah blah blah. The whole thing.
the minorities, put them together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Shang-Chi is over this way as well.
The DEI Avengers.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But it just feels like they're not that the current regime of Marvel is not interested in doing any of those things, of thinking outside the box, of having fun. Because those early days were fun when you could introduce things in other movies, like, oh my God, that's gonna be this thing, and he's gonna be in this and this and this. But now been beat down so much, you're just like, oh, I'll probably never see Wonder Man again. But when you leave me with the feeling of that was great, I love that. That was so fantastic.
Right.
Yeah, we're never going to see him again. It's kind of a great feeling and a terrible feeling at the same time.
I've definitely been hurt too many times, for sure. I get it. I totally understand what you're saying. But let's talk about the one fight we did get. Wonder Man or Simon is being basically, him and Trevor have gotten into some trouble. Trevor, a former druggie, he owes some people some money, and they're going to take it out on him by beating them up in the alley. Like, they start, and then they don't realize who they're messing with. Simon and Trevor have become good friends, and they even got a call back for this role. But Simon is not going to allow them to beat up on them. He hurts everybody, but he does it on camera. And so we get this just side mission of, okay, we're on camera. We're now being extorted because this man needs me to go steal his bicycle, Jason. His motorcycle. Let me put some respect on it.
This was the shortest episode, but I thought this was probably the best episode of the series.
It was the funniest.
It was so funny. It was so funny. And it was just pure comedy and joy of just and the way, and they get to the house, are they making drugs? No, they're making peach rings. And the way Trevor bonds with one of the people's I think this guy Espon's a nice guy. I just love that whole thing and the anxiety that Simon had the whole time of oh my God, we gotta get out of here, we gotta do this. He gets called from Janelle. Just the way he was acting in that way of it was so fun. It was just really fun. It really was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was a very a good display of straight man and funny man.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor was for the laughs, and then you get Simon being the straight man, basically neurotic. Like he said, anxiety riddled, and he is just we need to go. Look, let me punch him, and we get this damn bike, and we go. And then you realize that, oh boy, that had the footage, he was lying his ass off. So it was a good break from the sadness of Doorman.
Yeah,
it was a good okay. We've really brought this room down. All right, here's a comedy about a bunch of kids making peach rings, and go.
Yeah, and that's one of the best things about this series, that it feels like every episode was a full. It could have been a full episode of another show. It was from start to finish of an episode. It felt like a whole self-contained story that had a different feel from every other episode. This is the comedy episode. The next episode after that is the acting episode, where we're going to do this actors workshop where we're doing all these bunch of different things. And that was also the episode where Simon gets his breakthrough via Trevor of hey, don't put so much pressure on yourself. Just be yourself. Use the things you've done that has happened to you in your life to influence your acting. And that is really kind of the block that Simon needed to be taken out of his way. He just needed someone to tell him that, to really kind of access this this more natural way of acting, because as we see in the workshop, he's trying so hard. He's got these plans, he's got this and that, and Trevor kind of takes it away from him, because Simon goes in there here's what we're gonna do, right? They don't know that me and you are friends, so we're gonna go in there and we're gonna kind of do this, and Trevor's just no, just go with it. It's okay if we get split up, we're gonna do this and that. Simon tries to impress the director by using a scene from another movie instead of improving and like being natural, like the director asked him to, and you see where it's starting to really go downhill. And with that scene of Simon punching through a man's head,
So real.
That was crazy.
that
So
was
real.
That threw me off at first.
I really thought I thought we had lost the plot. I was like, oh wait, he lost his damn mind. Okay, now we about to see this man turn into a super villain. Okay, I thought and he woke up, so never mind.
And they left the perfect pause in there because when he punched the man's head, I was like, okay, well, this isn't real, right? But then they like
Right.
they stayed on it for too long. I was like, wait, this is not real, right? Like I was starting to get worried. And then he woke up, like, okay, true. And then Trevor talks his sense into him, and then Simon goes from there. And I was also a little surprised that we went so fast through the casting of Wonder Man, the shooting of the Wonder Man movie. Like as I'm thinking, as I found out the plot of the show before it came out, I was like, okay, so we're going to like get a good like sense of like Simon making this movie and this and that. But we really just kind of sped through the process of making the movie. Whereas like I think in like less than an episode's time, we're from casting to going to the premiere. It's just like wow, like we really spread through that part of it. I could never have guessed what this show was going to be based on like trailers or what we thought it was going to be. So and that's part of the thing that I love about this is that this was so unexpected. I think when you get something like an Ironheart where that was really kind of expected, right? It's paint by numbers. It's like, okay, we kind of go through the beats of what I thought we were going to go through with Ironheart, but this was just totally off the wall. You didn't know what was coming next, and that's part of what I really enjoy about entertainment, about like TV movies, that you give me something I didn't expect, and that's what I got here.
Yeah, this was totally different. I think that the big I guess the big driving force throughout this whole thing is the friendship between Simon and Trevor, right? It's like I know I said I could see Trevor popping up in another Marvel thing, but I don't want him to go anywhere without Wonder Man. You know what I'm saying? Without Simon. Like throughout this, to me, they are Wonder Man and Barnaby, or Batman and Robin, or whatever the case may be. They bonded so much. They are they just like complement each other so perfectly. The things that Simon can do well, of course, Trevor can't do those things, but Trevor can manage Simon's emotions a lot better than he can, and can help it like kind of focus him. Even to the point where, Jason, you're talking about when they start making the movie, we see Simon is back to his old tricks. He gets cast in his role, and he's still questioning the scripts. The things we saw in episode 1, where he's like, "Are you sure we have to say that line? Like, are you sure?" To the point where you can tell it's starting to be a detriment to him. But luckily, Trevor is there to kind of be the liaison between Simon and his like, kind of not so nice demeanor sometimes to like everybody else. So they need each other. Jason.
Trevor was his like support friend. He was like when Simon's feeling anxiety, Trevor jumps in and like, okay, all right, well, we'll do this and we'll do that. We'll relax. I think part of like when Simon and Trevor are at this like dinner with the agents, and the agents are like pitching all this stuff, and Trevor's just like, maybe you should just go do a play. Like I felt like it was like, I know your powers are triggered by anxiety, and I don't want you to like really get into the deep end here, and I really don't want you to take on too much. So we're going to kind of like, we're going to build you up. Like maybe you should do a play, not just like some crazy a whole bunch of more TV projects. I did think the like change of demeanor that Simon saw as from getting cast into actually making the movie was interesting. It was a little bit more of a self-assured Simon, of course with the help of Trevor. But he's like, he still hasn't learned his whole lesson, right? Because when he meets up with his ex, when they're talking about the interview, right? And he's like, Simon's still kind of this like really socially unaware person, because like when he meets up with the ex, and she's like, yeah, I got this part in Severance, and I've never had a costume before. He's like, and he just starts talking, he starts barfing about himself. He's like, oh yeah, on the Wonder Man set, he spent millions of dollars, and you can see his ex be like, okay, so you're just making this about you, like this is what you're doing. So he still isn't like perfectly formed person. I do love that he's still a fallible character at the end of the day.
Now, Anthony, you're Trevor Slattery's personal blunt roller.
That I am.
Yeah, but like, it looks like he's Simon's blunt roller first. So what do you think about their friendship? Because you're right. He's gone a long time without having any friends, and it feels like the one friend he has to really handle him a certain way for them to make it in the world.
Well, he has to do it with kid gloves in a lot of ways with Simon.
Mm-hmm.
Because Simon's whole thing is he has a power. He is basically anchored down by two things. Well, really three: the death of his father, his brother, and his powers.
Mm-hmm.
And you could also add a fourth: the fact that he is not yet a successful actor.
Mm-hmm.
So he has those four things weighing him down constantly. He had a very supportive girlfriend, but like she told him, yeah, you're an asshole.
He's
You're an
like, yeah, I
asshole.
know, but like, check out this
It-
movie I'm in. Like, he don't care.
yeah, yeah. Well, and the thing is, for him, it's more of, yeah, you're right, sure, but I got Wonder Man,
Yeah.
and this was more of not just, hey, I became big. I'm doing something that, as a child, me and my father connected. Like our bond was solidified because he, like me, loved stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like his father took him from school knowing that he was being bullied, brought him to see this 80s film, and I'm gonna make this quick. It reminded me of how me and my dad was, when I was younger and I'd come home from school. He worked overnight, but when he was off, if I was at my grandmother's, he would go to the movies. And back in the 80s, new movies didn't drop on Fridays. They dropped on Tuesdays. So if I came home on that Tuesday, he like, put your book sack down. You're not staying in this house by yourself. Get your ass in the truck. We gone.
Mm-hmm.
And this man brought me into a theater to see Nightmare on Elm Street for the first time when it first came out back in 84. So having those kind of moments, of father and son, and now you're becoming, Wonder Man, the thing that your dad loved when he first came to America, the thing that he passed on to you that you fell in love with because, wow, my dad, me and my dad have this connection. It's he has a very childlike enthusiasm right now. And Trevor is that understanding adult because Trevor went through the same thing when he
Mm-hmm.
was, because remember, all I'm here to do is to make my mom proud.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm here to make my mom proud, and I'm gonna do. And I want to show her that her bringing me to this theater when I was 10 years old. This is the accomplishment. The mission is accomplished, and I am now this actor. You know, so
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
they work perfectly together. Simon is his anchor. He's that boat trying to, stay afloat in very choppy waters. And Simon is that weight that keeps him level, that keeps him balanced,
And it also feels
So
like Simon is a little bit of Trevor's redemption, right? Of
Yeah.
like,
yes.
I want to make sure I'm steering this guy right so that
Mhm.
he's not like, I thought it was so funny when we saw the flashback of Trevor like auditioning for the Mandarin of like,
Drunk as
Oh
hell.
yeah.
like drunk as hell, down in the dumps. He really needs this. Like he's like, oh, this is more of an adult thing. It's like I'm kind of down. It's like no, like, and we see kind of the formation of the Mandarin character coming through. I thought that was a really great touch they added there. And yeah, there's so much to explore. I felt like, and Simon, he gets everything he ever wanted. He is a famous actor. He did this Wonder Man role that he really wanted, and then we just transfer so quickly to him really kind of throwing it away, right? Of like,
Mhm.
I got all this, but now I'm about to mess it up because I'm about to break Trevor out. I felt like they really sacrificed the journey to that moment with the kind of like the mystery of what's Simon doing in this last episode of like he's following around this person. I listen, call me dumb, call me an idiot. I didn't get it till like way late. And I was like, oh,
Mhm.
he's going to go break Trevor out of prison. I was like, oh my God, okay. But yeah, I felt like we really sacrificed the journey of like, what does this mean to Simon to throw this away? Like, I wish we could have
Mhm.
gotten a little bit of like the aftermath of him breaking Trevor. I was really surprised when they break out of the prison and then credits. I was like, really? That's it?
Yeah.
Like we're not getting anything else? Like we're not going to explore like what he did, why he did it exactly. They do have a little bit of a back and forth, but it's just not enough for me. It's just really not.
Yeah, understood. Because I was watching that episode, trying to figure out now what the hell is going on here. And
Mhm.
then about 2/3 of the way through, I'm like, oh, okay, I see what's about to happen. And I thought,
Yeah,
damn, that's about to happen. Then I guess this whole acting thing is for naught because you can't go back to acting now. Like that's
Right.
over with. So you are
right,
choosing your first friend, and I don't have an issue with that, right? Like this is his if his dad is his first friend, this is his second friend in life. We know Simon don't
right.
have nobody else to speak to. When they talk about Simon, he's like, I don't have nobody else. And so Trevor made that much of an impact on him to where he's willing to throw it all away. So that to me, that just shows how much like their friendship matters to this story. But the even like the Wonder Man cast, like I'm sorry, the script that they're acting in, it's even telegraphing some of the stuff that's coming up. I remember that scene where they're riding in the car, and I think Trevor's reading the script, and he goes, oh, "Barnaby's gonna betray Wonder Man." He's like,
Yeah,
"What?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah." I'm like, Simon, look up, fool! Like
Yeah.
he right there.
Barnaby
Trevor's like,
is
yeah,
in the car.
Trevor's like, yeah, wild, right? Like that's
Yeah.
crazy, huh?
The,
Yeah.
the call is coming
Oh,
from
Who would do
inside the
that?
car. The call is coming
Yes.
from inside the car.
He's
Yeah.
like,
So we spend
Trevor's
a
like,
lot
well,
of
maybe
time.
Barnaby has good reasons. You don't know.
Right.
You
You
don't
don't
know.
know. We spent a lot of time kind of developing that friendship and that sense of betrayal that he's going to feel. And then we see, Trevor obviously is going to take the fall for this and kind of redon the Mandarin like mask and the persona. So like, I don't really know, Anthony, if the Mandarin is going to like if the Mandarin itself plays a big part in the role the MCU has been kind of laying out. What do you think?
No, I think after Shang-Chi, once Shang-Chi's dad just pretty much said, "Y'all name me after an orange chicken dish," that's done. But
Mhm.
the fact that Shang-Chi's father didn't pronounce himself as the leader of the Ten Rings to the world, the fact that Trevor could bring it back,
Mhm.
it's a nice little callback. I don't think it's gonna. I think if there was to be a second season, I think they would have fun playing on, you know, the Mandarin escaped from a high security, what they call them, something maximum security,
Right, the black box.
prison, the black box,
Yeah.
whatever. So I do want to say, going back to episode 7, the Kathy Freeman episode, I think that's what I really love how they do have the moment between Simon and Trevor and Kathy, and
Right.
you're sitting there with bated breath, like, oh, she's gonna reveal that he has powers.
Right.
Because that's what Kathy, that's her MO. And
Mhm.
then all of a sudden she's like, oh yeah, I spoke to your brother. And he's like, oh,
That's it.
what this it. All right, let's do it. And she's like, he spoke highly of you. He did?
Like
Okay. But when she looked at Trevor, and I said, but that makes sense.
Yep.
That's the
Mhm.
That's
juiciest
the real
story.
story. Yeah, that's
That's
the
the
real
real
story.
story.
Yep.
How
Yeah.
are you, a world-known terrorist, come to find out you're faked? You're a fake, yet you break out of prison but you came back to LA. How the hell did this happen?
Yeah.
That's
It
a
was,
good
it was
point.
right there in our face the whole time.
Yeah.
You're just like,
Right there.
oh, yeah, wait, he's
You're
technically
right.
a fugitive right
It's-
now.
They're
Like,
acting like it's normal. That's why we were acting like it's normal. Nobody
Yes.
is really questioning Trevor at all. Even
No.
when he shows up at the candy house, they're like, "It's the Mandarin. Come on!"
yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, the terrorist. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why is everybody acting like this man is normal? So we start acting like it's normal, and so you completely miss that you're right. Kathy should be trying to break the story about like,
Yes.
Trevor, why are you here?
Yeah.
Right. But also, we do have to keep in mind that we are in a universe where there are superheroes, supervillains, extinction level events happen. You have a group of superpowered humans, whether it's through technology or biology. So it's normal.
Right.
Just like when he went to the audition and the girl just goes, I think he was a terrorist or something.
Yeah.
And they're just laughing it off like, oh, okay, well, goddamn, he's a great actor. We want him.
Yeah.
Von
And-
Kovacs.
Yeah.
Von could have
Yeah.
killed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want the Mandarin, but he does not care. That is a real director. I don't care what you do outside. Because
Yeah,
what you
but
did
also-
here is what I want.
But I do think they know in the universe that he was an actor. He wasn't a real like
Right.
terrorist. But like it is still weird to be like, yeah, you were the guy that was pretending to be a terrorist. Like that's weird that you're here. But also like, aren't supposed to be in prison now? Like I understand the normal person wouldn't put two and two together. And because we know that Trevor is, working for the Department of Damage Control, we don't question it. But then we're like, oh yeah, there should be people here questioning this. So like, why are you walking free? You're supposed to be in jail right now. And yeah, and the turn that I didn't even see coming was like, oh yeah, like that's a good question. Because I mean, Simon is just a regular guy. Of course, he knows he has powers. No one else knows that, so he's just a regular guy. But Trevor, he's the real story here. I don't even think Trevor realized he was the story. He's like,
right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I thought about that.
You see,
yeah.
And I love his reaction. I love how he went off. He pulled the beautifully classic actor getting caught by scandal moment where he's like, nope.
I disagree. That's not me. When he said that's not me on the footage, I died. She's like, this is you getting recorded. Nope, doesn't look like me to me. You know what I'm saying? The show really does hide that moment well because they kind of forecast like, oh, we're coming after Simon by saying, well, was it Joseph Gordon-Levitt when he was 6 years old, he had a thing, and that and like she was able to dig that up, then it makes total sense for her to be able to dig up his moment that he had blowing up the kitchen, right? It's like it's such a small thing in our eyes, but if that's the one thing that it's going to take, it's like, yeah, it's realistic for him to be anxious about that. And so we're concerned about that moment, and we miss him just sitting right there like, here I am, made a deal with the government, wonder what's going to happen next.
The classic like magician's trick of like, you busy watching what's over here, you don't even realize what's going on over here. And the way that like, okay, that it gets Simon's gears turning of like, oh, like, yeah, you're supposed to be in prison. Why aren't you in prison? Like, what's going on? Like, it really gets them to start thinking of like, paranoia. Why aren't you in prison? Like, what's going on with that? And because and the way that Kathy like reveals like, and I also heard you made a deal with the government, and something's like, oh, okay, and that's where like this great reveal happens of like, I've been informing on you, like I've been snitching on you basically
the whole time. Our whole friendship is a lie, and again, that's the most important thing for Simon. He thinks the acting is the most important thing, but the moment this is revealed and he realizes, oh, that it was Trevor who has been informing on him, he blows up the damn city block and the entire set. They had to rebuild that set, right, Anthony? Like, there's no way that he just like they rebuilt the set, reshot the film. Like, you know what I'm saying?
We had to move to a different studio, probably. Like, we can't use this place anymore. We gotta go shoot this somewhere else. And because as we've mentioned several times, this is Simon's only friend in probably a long time. And for him to now realize that in his mind this friendship was a lie is big for him. And we know that his powers come out in big moments of emotion, anxiety, and it was a perfect encapsulation of that when he like just goes and blows up this studio. Like that's how much he's feeling right now. It was a wonderful moment. Like that sequence was great with the finding out and the whole explosion. I really enjoyed how they really put that, and then his anxiety afterward. I'm like, all right, now I blew up a studio. Now they're coming for me. And the conversation he has with his mother was so great. Like, and if you're someone that like, it hit me there because it's like, if you're someone that like doesn't talk to their mother like a whole lot, like he calls his mom, you can tell like she's like, okay, why are you calling me? Like, it's weird, you don't call me. And he asks her about like probably some crazy thing that she told him about, like, Ellen over there, next door, she complained about the tree and blah blah. He's like, he takes the time to ask her about it because he knows like this could be the last time I talk to you because they're after me. So like I really want to get into like to just have a conversation with you. It was so great, and it was so heartwarming and touching of like, this might be the last time I talk to you. So like I need to check in with you real quick.
He doesn't talk to people normally, Anthony. It's just like when Kathy's coming, he wants to get to know people. When he's under investigation, that's when he wants to actually be a human.
Well, and I think what was so funny, the situation with Kathy was his nerves. How Simon flipped the switch and he wasn't, the asshole. He was, hey, yeah, we should get this and blah blah blah. Wait, you want to get what? No. I can get my own smoothie.
Right.
You don't have to go run out of your way. But that's my job. You don't have to do that. I
Yeah.
can do that for me.
Mhm.
And I just love how Kathy kept telling him, I'm not here.
Right.
I'm not
Of
Be
here.
course,
normal.
of course, he can't do that. He can't.
No.
He can't abide by that.
No.
And
I love how
it-
he talked to her when he talked after she said it, and he go, "Yeah, and I'm not here." Oh yeah,
He's like,
okay,
oh
yeah,
yeah, she
yeah,
not here.
yeah,
She not here, y'all.
exactly,
not here.
exactly.
Yeah.
And like when Trevor tells him, like, it would be a good thing to use people's names sometimes, and he goes, "Hey, Kathy, how you doing, Kathy? Nice to see you, Kathy. Good to meet you,
Right?
Kathy."
Yeah.
Because he's never had that before.
Yeah,
He
Mhm.
is a struggling actor. He's had like they say, bit roles,
Mhm.
but
well,
this is the role of a lifetime.
and he's
You
very
know,
socially awkward.
Yeah.
He was that guy in the first episode that didn't realize that he was doing too much. He didn't realize he was annoying people and pissing people off with all his questions. He didn't realize that he's not someone that goes out and socializes in the world. So he's kind of learning these new skills through Trevor throughout this whole series.
Right. His mom wasn't the issue here, and his girlfriend wasn't the issue here. But they even called his brother. Now, Anthony, the brother is something that we've kind of hinted at. That we've talked about. We talked around the brother, but the brother matters, right? The brother. This is an Easter egg, but the show doesn't address it. This is someone we should be acknowledging if there's going to be a season 2, right?
If they go that route, it would
That
be
would be
hilarious.
wild. That would be a huge
That would be
swing.
crazy.
It would be a wild switch up from what we
It would
just
be,
saw.
yeah, because
Yes.
Eric Williams in the comics
It's the Grim
accounting.
Reaper.
is the Grim Reaper, is a villain.
Yes.
He has like a hook on his arm, like
Yes.
his
A
costume,
mechanical hook.
Yeah, his
Yeah,
costume's
mechanical
wild.
sight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
costume's wild. Like if they, if they
But
went
keep
that
in
direction.
mind, it is the reason in the comics, the reason Simon goes to prison is because Eric is the one that convinced him to embezzle from the family business.
Embezzled.
Yeah.
He embezzled, well, because their dad was kind of like a Howard Stark, had his own tech company. They did weapons as well, but Tony Stark being Tony Stark, creating all this high-tech weaponry, and then here comes the Iron Man suit, and Tony Stark has a fully robotic bodyguard and an armored bodyguard. Everybody started not giving a damn about Simon's company because he takes over after his dad, moves on or retires, and he starts to go broke. So his brother's like, well, the best way to kind of save it is to just take money out of it, reinvest it somewhere else, blah, blah, blah. And if you want to see one of the most asshole things ever, there's in the comic where Simon's being arrested, he's handcuffed. Eric's in the background as a shadow, just looking like, oh, sucks to be you. My bad.
Yeah. So that should tell you how different this interpretation of Simon Williams is. It's definitely a far cry from the comic book Wonder Man in several different ways, but they did give you very subtle references, some not so subtle references to the comic book counterpart, and I think it's important to to recognize those. It's the sunglasses that is like a huge trademark of Wonder Man. The red suit jacket he has on at the premiere, that is a Wonder Man staple. He kind of walks around in like this red trench coat suit jacket. That's kind of like his part of his uniform in a way, basically at certain points.
Oh, he's pimping. He's very sharp.
He's big pimping, pimping. And then the big the big culmination of it all was the Wonder Man suit in the very much in the style of what we've seen out of the MCU. It's this like weird kind of plastic leather type number. So I enjoyed the suit, but it was not I don't know. It wasn't out of its way spectacular. It was very much what we expect out of the MCU suits.
It was very vanilla.
Yeah.
It was super vanilla. But the beauty of it is quite frankly, this is a commentary on Hollywood, on how Hollywood does things. It's very reminiscent of the original X-Men movies that came out in 2001, I think, or 2000.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Where the joke was, what do you want us to do? Wear yellow spandex?
Yeah.
Because Bryan Singer did not want his folks running around in yellow and blue spandex. It was black leather. Um, and I want to go back to a comment you made about how quickly we go from him getting the movie, he's a star and it's done.
Mhm.
I think that is also a play on how the Hollywood machine cranks out these superhero movies.
Yeah, because when
It's
when
really quick.
Trevor gets arrested, they're like, Von Kovac does not take days off. You're going to act against this tennis ball, and we're going to get your coverages because we're going to figure it out later.
And Joey Pants will now take over the role
Joey
of
Pants.
Barnaby.
Woo! Cut me deep with that one. Cut me deep. I was like, he's like, who they get to play Barnaby? I can't tell you. Yeah, you don't want to know. You don't
So
wanna know.
good, so
You
good.
don't
He's like, De
wanna know.
Niro? No,
Yeah, nah.
so good.
Nah,
Yeah, but it's such a great commentary on what we've witnessed for the past 18 years,
mhm.
if you think about it. Because in 2028, we're officially 20 years into Marvel Studios and the MCU. So I
Mhm.
think this was a really good commentary, and kind of a little slight to Kevin Feige as well.
Mhm.
And how things are done in Hollywood, especially when it comes to superhero content.
When they leave that movie premiere, everybody's all loving everything, blah blah blah. I said I'd never do a sequel. Well, I know you
But
said you never do a sequel, but if we did, what if we
Yes,
did? You know what I'm saying? What if
let's
we
get
did
together.
Thor, Love and Thunder? What if we did that? Huh? What about it? It's like there is a point where you have to leave well enough alone, and I don't think Hollywood has
Yes,
figured that out enough yet because they're here to make money, okay? And
yeah,
that's why we have 8,000 of these Marvel movies, and now we don't know how to connect them all. We don't know how to end. They do not know how to land the plane, nor do I think they even want to at this point. I
yeah.
think they're just doing shit. And so, I felt like that was very reminiscent of the kind of stuff we see today.
Yeah, and somebody said it. I forgot who, and I may be quoting them wrong, but the art of film in Hollywood, or the art of Hollywood films, died the day Jaws became a blockbuster.
Mm,
Because Jaws, if you really watch Jaws, Jaws was not made to make Stephen King didn't make it to say, "Oh, I'm making this $200 million movie, that's gonna rake in $250." No, he was like, I'm making something I enjoy,
mhm,
something that scares, something that'll bring suspense and thriller and drama. And it just so happened to be the right movie that drops at the right time that people said, you need to get your ass in this theater to come see this big ass shark eat people. And
mhm,
folks started lining up the theater, lining around the block. And Hollywood
the start
said,
of the blockbuster.
right. And
mhm.
Hollywood went, money, money.
Yeah.
It's not like back in the 20s, well, the 1910s,
Teens.
up
Yeah.
until the teens, up until this moment where it was like, okay, if we break, 20 million, good. You have the Oscar, is it, I can't remember, Cecil B. DeMille movies, the big scope epic movies,
Mhm.
you know, and
And now we have
that was
Avatar
cool.
8 coming to theaters
Oh
in
God, look,
2029.
I respect James Cameron, but my boy, we're
Yeah.
done with Blue Rabbits fucking. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I'm tired of Avatar.
I,
If it
I,
ain't Aang and
right.
Appa, I don't care.
Right. Right.
I don't
No,
care.
those are really good points. Especially because we are so far into all these phases and we're
Hmm.
constantly asking what's coming next. Is there a place, like, is there any direction to what we're doing? For me, I don't like a movie with a lot of sequels. Oh, okay. I do not. I was trying to get one and done on a lot of these films. And then when they became like, oh, we gotta do 3 of them, 4 of them, 5 of them, I really started to
Yeah.
tap out a little bit. So I don't know. For me, I love that they're giving us these characters, but I would definitely like to be able to live with them a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I think even the weekly drop, I think it would help a lot, where I can at least spend the time getting to know the characters for a little bit, as
Hmm.
opposed to you know we recorded this over the span of 3 weeks, but I was done watching it in a week. Like, I watched it
Right.
the first batch, we recorded, I watched the second batch. 7 days had not passed, and so now I'm kind of like, damn, I guess I could watch Wonder Man again, or maybe not, maybe never again.
Right.
Maybe I've seen it once. I got the gist of it. Should I even be caring to watch it again, or should I just be waiting on the next big thing? Jason, I have a question though.
Yeah.
I know the Grim Reaper is probably not going to appear to be Wonder Man's brother. It'd be really hard to change this black man into death soon. But were there other Easter eggs and like winks and nods to things that you wanted to flag up since we are talking about like kind of how this differs from its original property?
Anthony, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but other
Mhm.
than the things that I point out, like the glasses, the
Mhm.
suit, and all this, I didn't really see a whole lot to really connect this to the comic book counterpart.
Yeah, the biggest thing I remember, I'm going back to our last episode where we were talking about Doorman, and you were like, he's from the Great Lakes Avengers.
Yeah.
His start is West Coast. He
Mm.
started in
Oh,
West
really?
Coast,
Okay.
and yeah,
Then
he
they turned him
started
into a
in West
joke.
Well, no, he was no. I'm gonna be brutally honest. He was kind of a joke in West Coast Avengers,
Okay.
but he was very like seldomly used as
Mhm.
a hero. It's Great Lakes where he gets his claim to fame, and it's in Great Lakes where they do make him black. They do
Okay.
reveal he is a black man and he is a mutant.
Mm.
Oh,
He didn't dip his hand into some glittery, Damar.
yeah,
You knew better.
yeah.
You're black, Damar.
Some trash
Your mama,
juice.
yeah, your mama taught
Trash
you better.
juice.
But
Gross. Yeah, and I really wish we could have circled back to the Damar. Of it
Could
all.
we get another? Yeah, where is Doorman? You know,
where
we
is
never.
Jay Gad?
Doorman should have been in that
Dor-
prison.
he's with
Doorman
him.
should have
Doorman
been
is in that prison,
Yeah.
but
They
he's
they
being
could have shown
experimented
him.
on. Yeah,
Yeah, but
and
they
that was
showed him.
another thing I would have liked to see. And this is why I say Simon could actually go back into the world and not be known, because when he goes to get Trevor, his powers activate and he's short circuit. He's knocking out all security.
And what's
Mhm.
interesting
And
with that is
his
that
cap
like
is down.
yeah, and it seemed like whatever has happened in the intervening months or however long it took to make this movie, that Simon has gained better control of his power.
Yeah.
He's able to control it. He's able to use it at will. He's able to fly. So we had
Yeah.
a whole training montage we didn't even get to see.
Right. How did you do this?
Right.
It
So,
reminds me of when the Hulk became Professor Hulk in
Yeah.
what you call it in Endgame, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Well, I put the brains with the brawn and some gamma," and it's like, "No, I want to see you become
said,
you leave
yada,
out
yada.
you leave out the best parts. You leave out the fun. Like I understand.
Yeah.
I understand we're in a world of like auteur. Like I'm an artiste, but I still want to see some of the classics, man. I still
Yeah.
want to see like a good origin story. I want to see a good training montage. I want to know how this happened. Like I get it, man. It's art. Like you don't need to see it. Like no, I
Right.
do. I want to see it. I think it's fun.
I'll be honest though, Simon really does need training, because
Oh,
that
yeah.
fight scene in episode 5, I think he would have been better off just doing a windmill. Right.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff he was doing when he was fighting them guys. Thank
Yeah.
goodness for his powers. Because I
Yes.
do love when he kicked the guy in the shin. That was
Ooh.
cool as hell. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, your leg is crushed, buddy. You just
Yeah, you're done.
you can't even walk it off. You finished.
He was flinging those people around like a rag doll, really.
Right.
But we got a nice little contained series. You know, season 1. We've not heard anything about a season 2. We're not extremely optimistic because we're not crazy. But for 8 episodes, I thought this was good. I've seen some negative criticism, of course, being like, "What was this for? What does it matter? Why didn't he get to fight anybody?" Some of that is me just saying that again.
Yeah.
But I think
Yeah,
overall I
understand.
did enjoy it. But Anthony, we watched the whole thing. You watched it a couple times at this point, probably.
Yeah, I watched it 3 times.
Yeah. So what do you think overall? Where does it stack up against the other Marvel TV shows?
Wow. I you know what? I would definitely put it next to WandaVision and Loki.
Ooh, okay. High praise. I love
I would
WandaVision.
have it in the top 3.
Okay.
And I'm the type of person, I put Loki above all. Like,
Okay.
I put Loki above all. So I would say Wonder Man would be nipping at the toes or the heels of Loki, because of the way the show was constructed, the way it was written, the acting, let's just be honest. That friendship is the strongest thing of that series. And it is so well done because you have Yahya Abdul Mateen, the second, and you have, and damn it, if y'all don't put respect on this man's name,
Sir.
it is Sir Ben Kingsley. He is knighted, goddamn it. The way that they played each play against each other, the way they do separated from each other, like at the family at the birthday party, how Trevor is interacting with Simon's family and how Simon's interacting with his own family, and you see just it was just perfect. It was perfect. That is the kind of friendship I need to see more of, and I do wish Disney would just suck it up, Buttercup, and say, all right, we're going to give you a second season. That's just me.
Yeah, for
We
sure.
shall
And
see.
I think it's the power of dialogue and relationship building, because it's formed in such a little time, but it really gets bang for its buck for like how we feel about the formation of the relationship. As far as where I would put this, I put it up pretty high. I think I mirror what Anthony's saying. Loki is the top of the top. I have Agatha pretty high up on my list too.
Pretty good,
yeah. So I would probably go Loki, Agatha, then maybe Wonder Man, I think.
Okay.
So Loki, Agatha, then Wonder Man?
Wonder Man, then WandaVision, probably.
Yeah. I mean, it's in your top 3.
Yeah.
No,
it's just so different. It's just
Chappell gonna put it in his bottom 8.
Oh boy, yeah. Here we go.
No, hold on. No, don't even do me like that, because I'm not gonna rank it. So this was so much fun. I had a great time watching this and talking to y'all about it. We got to do this again. Me and Anthony have been in negotiations trying to work out some more Marvel coverage. Jason's definitely said he's on board, and so we're gonna try to bring more of that throughout the seasons. Throughout the year, to cover some of this other stuff. But let us know in the comments. YouTube.com/ at Recap Kickback. Hop in the comments and tell us what you want us to talk about. It doesn't even have to be a new Marvel thing. If you just have a topic that you want us to discuss, we can do as many panels or a few panels as we need to until we build up into our big Doomsday release at the end of the year. But until then, Anthony, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me again, man. Truly.
What else you working on, man?
Still doing our little old podcast called Talkin Ish, a podcast amongst friends. We dropped episode 191. We are on the road to 200. I don't know what the hell we gonna do on episode 200, but it's gonna be trifling. So we hope you can check us out on YouTube every Wednesday. We drop new episodes every Wednesday, and join the conversation because we love talking shit.
All right. Thank you so much. Jason Reed, what you got going on?
You can always find me in a couple of places. I'm on the Perfect Match podcast. We are talking about the show Married at First Sight. That's what we do over there. We are exclusively on Patreon right now, talking about season 10. We're going back into the vault, back into the past of Married at First Sight. One of the best seasons of the show, season 10. We're talking about that. Come on over to the Good Pod, as well as me and Marissa Garza are rewatching The Good Wife and talking about that over there. And I was on some other one-off podcasts for me. I was on Crime Scene with co-host of this very podcast, Mari Forth, talking about the investigation of Lucy Letby, a really dark and disturbing documentary. So come on over there. We tried to give some levity to it. I don't know how great that worked, but hey, we tried. You can also find me talking about the show 90 Day Fiance with Puya over on the We Know 90 Day Fiance podcast.
I was gonna check that out, but then I found out Jenny and Samit are still there, and I just can't do it. I'm done. I can't.
Well, that's not the franchise. It's a different franchise we're talking about.
Still, why are they still around? I can't do it, y'all. I can't.
They'll never break up. Never ever.
Yeah. Thank y'all so much for being here. Thank y'all for listening. If you want to catch more Recap Kickback content, you know what to do. Subscribe to the podcast, and then catch us talking about these various shows and movies. We got Welcome to Derry coverage with me and Latanya Starks. We have Taryn Armstrong just joined us to talk about A Night of the Seven Kingdoms this week. So that was fun. Abbott Elementary is about to go on hiatus, but we're still covering Abbott Elementary with me and Gia. We also have some Survivor coverage with Gia and I coming up. And then I Love New York. We're talking about it every week live on YouTube with me and Chantel Francis. Chantel's very first time getting into those ratchet shenanigans of the VH1 cinematic universe. So check out all of that and more. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow everybody in the various places. And we'll catch y'all next time. Peace. I've been trapped behind Suave Maria, isolated like it's North Korea. Smaller city with some bigger dreams. The wall is cracked, I'm looking in between it. The world
can't feel my chest. Wait on life, I wanna hold my breath. I'ma get in my goddamn self.